Hi, I'm Rob Webb, founder of Nonprofit Campaigns, and we are live for another edition of our live forum on fundraising. And this week, I have, once again, back on the show, we're honored to have Maria Bryan, the Nonprofit Brand Strategist. Right, Maria?
Yes, so happy to be on again.
And we're honored and glad to have you on again as well. We're a couple of minutes late, so my apologies. Folks are coming in now. Nothing like those last minute technical issues to just make it exciting when we're going live. So that is live internet television, folks.
Always something.
And it's always something, but we're glad to be here. Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
We were dark the last 2 weeks. And that's because I had surgery last week and a doctor's appointment the week before. They decided to patch my tire. I had a hernia. And did you guys miss me while we were gone? I found out that with the StreamYard platform, we can do reruns, but I can only do reruns that are up to an hour long. If the show is an hour and 1 minute, I can't rerun that one. So we're excited to be here. So for those of you that are joining us, let's see, I see a comment in there. You know the drill if you've been here before. Jump in to the chat, say hello,
hi, Randy.
Tell us where you're from. Tell us that's Randy. Hi, Randy. He is from Lancaster and is the chairman of the Antelope Valley YMCA. There in Lancaster. Thanks for joining us today, Randy. The rest of you that are in this room, if you're watching us on Facebook, you might have to go in to and tell StreamYard who you are, right? It'll just show up here as Facebook user if you don't give StreamYard permission to use your name. And if you want to remain anonymous, I guess you can do that. But we love to know who's in the room, who's listening to us. So type your name, type your nonprofit, and get ready to ask questions. Because Maria Bryan, the nonprofit marketing and specialist, is going to come here and answer all your questions today. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can't participate from the live chat, but you can watch it on your couch and have a glass of wine on your living room TV while you're watching, and that's pretty cool. So, Maria, we have an announcement for not for this week, but for next week. And I think I told you about it the other day. Brett Weiss is in the room. Hello, Brett. He is the Weiss Scholarship Foundation. We empower children in education. He's got his website in there. Thank you for posting that, Brett. The rest of you, while I'm making this announcement, go ahead and let us know who you are and where you're from and what you're excited about today. After many tries with LinkedIn, I have applied several times to be a LinkedIn live participant, and LinkedIn is very, very they're tough cookie to crack, and LinkedIn has always said, nah, you're just not cool enough, man, and you can't go stream live on LinkedIn. Well, I'm glad to say that as of yesterday, we got an email, and LinkedIn says that we are worthy now. So the live forum on fundraising will now be streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube as we grow all over the world. We are America's #1 nonprofit variety show. Maria, did you know that?
I learned that today in your email.
That's because we're the only nonprofit variety show that I'm aware of. And so Randy and Brett and the rest of the folks that are tuning in here today, just go ahead, chat in there. Oh, Christy is here.
Christy.
How are you, Christy? Welcome to the show. You're the CEO of Collaborative to End Human Trafficking in Cleveland, Ohio. Also got a website in there for Christy. Thank you. I am always impressed by the wonderful mission and the people that we serve here at Nonprofit Campaigns. And I get to hear your stories. If you guys are not members of our Nonprofit Campaigns community, Inspiring Fundraising Success on Facebook, I encourage you to go to Facebook. It's a Facebook group, not a Facebook page. We got both of those things. But in our Facebook group, Nonprofit Campaigns Community, Inspiring Fundraising Success, that's where all the fun is. And I encourage you to go there and click that you want to join. It's going to ask you a couple of questions just to make sure you're legit. And as soon as we get done with this live forum, I'm going to go in there and approve you guys. This week, we are also broadcasting in the Hive, right? This is something
Yeah,
new
I think
for us.
so.
We are. So if anybody is watching this from the Nonprofit Marketing Hive
Please say
group on
hello.
Facebook, let us know where you're watching from. If you're in the Hive or if you're in our Facebook group or on our page, let us know. We've got, this is exciting. Now I've learned how I can stream into our guests groups as well as our own. We're just taking this technology to a new level, aren't we, Maria?
Well, so my Bluetooth doesn't work, what I just spent a ton of money on.
Well, I'm sure you can get it to work later, but that was fun. We really had a good time. Nothing like getting the adrenaline flowing while we're looking at each other going,
2 minutes before we can move them. No, I know. It's amazing. It's amazing how much we can connect with people all over the globe with social media and StreamYard and all these other platforms.
It is. It's exciting. And, our next stop is cable television, man. We're going to be hitting big time prime time soon. You were on our show, a month or two ago.
Yeah.
You and Mary were on the show. And we went through an hour. We went over an hour, and everybody had more questions. We promised to bring you back on. And so here it is. This is the return of the Maria. We didn't have Mary this week, right? Mary's off.
Mary is very busy. She's doing some really exciting things. Her and her partner are decking out their van so they can travel.
So yeah, they're going to be traveling all over the world, or at least all over the continent. I guess you can't get the van to other parts of the world, but they're going to go down into Mexico and all over the United States. And I told Mary, you've got to do a vlog or a blog, something that's got to be video.
I've been telling her that for months.
And so we're going to be looking forward to watching the adventures of Mary Anderson, right? Your partner in this in crime here.
Yeah, partner in good.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, today it is we're gearing up for end of year fundraising.
That's right.
And so,
that's the name of the show, as a matter of fact. How to propel your year-end fundraising.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to chat about. We're going to talk about what you need to know to really make the most of your campaign and really have a successful end of year fundraising.
And I'm gonna be asking you a few questions. You're gonna tell us a little bit about you've got a boot camp coming up for those people that really want to learn nonprofit marketing on steroids in 1 week, right?
Yes. It's super intensive, very fun. The kind of thing, of course, I wish I had when I was in nonprofit marketing, working in-house.
How's that? There it is.
Yes. That starts on Monday. It's going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 3 90-minute sessions. We're going to dig super deep into what it takes to have an effective, successful nonprofit marketing presence or to launch a campaign. And I know a lot of you probably have a campaign coming up. Yeah.
I'm excited. And those of you who, I think everybody here knows, but we are also starting a little boot camp of our own next week, which you start on Monday and go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Ours starts on Wednesday, September 15th, which is our 6-week masterclass for annual giving, how to create a fundraising plan that doesn't sit on the shelf collecting dust. This is going to be a very simple to create fundraising plan that you're going to implement, you're going to use, and you're going to see success. So it's back to school season here.
It is back to school season, time to learn, invest in yourself. And really the end of the year is when most nonprofits funds really come in. So September is definitely, and October is the month to figure some things out and to put some time into planning and learning.
Now, when we were talking I'm sorry, I cut you off. Finish that sentence, please.
I said it's my favorite time of year.
Your favorite time of year is fall and going into the holidays.
Oh yeah, Thanksgiving, back to school, Halloween.
Yeah, I love summer. it's all, I'm a
Well,
body
you're in the right place.
surfer
That
and,
doesn't
in
surprise me about you.
California, the water's cold in the wintertime. You got to put wetsuits on. That's kind of why I live in Hawaii now. I get to have warm water year round because of my surgery. I've got I'm in dry dock for another 2 weeks. So that sucks, but I'll be, give me a couple, 3 weeks. I'll be back in the ocean again.
Good.
So the other day when we talked, we had a discussion about how do you define a campaign?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
And of course, we offer our program here at Nonprofit Campaigns. Our core product is I'm trying to find an image here if I can find it. The high impact campaign, right? Something that is it is our fundraising campaign on steroids, and of course, high impact means able to affect or influence someone in a powerful way. And of course, a campaign is an organized course of action to achieve a particular goal. How do you define a campaign,
I mean,
Mary?
We're on the same page.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We're very similar. So, what's interesting is that when we're talking about this, for you, a campaign is like really organizing people. It was very one-on-one kind of campaign to galvanize support and get them asking their people. But when I think campaign with a digital marketing background, it has more to do with kind of like mass messages going out to a lot of people, but it's still a concerted effort towards one action, which will bring you closer to a goal. So when I think of campaign, I think of like an end of year fundraising event. A lot of people do Giving Tuesday. To me, that's a campaign. A campaign could be a public awareness campaign. So, trying to get people to maybe get their COVID vaccination, or to, make sure their pets get enough exercise, whatever it may be. If there's some kind of awareness element, a campaign can be just letting as many people know about a certain issue or advocacy. Christy is talking about human trafficking in her organization. So I'm sure she does quite a few campaigns just to bring awareness to the situation and how it affects people here in the United States.
So. And Randy, of course, who is in one of our participants watching today, is the chairman, I believe, of the Antelope Valley annual community support campaign. And one of the things we teach in nonprofit campaigns is that everything in fundraising, almost everything in fundraising, is best executed when structured as a campaign.
Absolutely.
With specific goals and measurable results. The only thing that I have found that is hard to structure into a campaign is writing grants and foundation and grant writing. And I had a grant writer that's going to be a guest on the show here in a few weeks tell me that, no, we got specific goals and measurable results. We qualify as a campaign. So everything now in your nonprofit ball of tricks, so to speak, should be structured as a campaign. And it could be a direct mail campaign. It could be an internet marketing campaign, or our high impact fundraising campaign, which is kind of like Randy's in the YMCA's community support campaign, where we take volunteers. It's a volunteer-led, staff-managed campaign on steroids that's focused on individuals and businesses. Of course, I came from the YMCA 40 years, so it looks and smells a little like a YMCA annual campaign. What is the difference, Maria, between nonprofit marketing and fundraising?
Good question. Because I bet any of you who are in marketing and fundraising, you're probably on the same team, or you're one person doing both, but there is a difference. So marketing is any of the touch points or messaging you have with all of your audience members. Now that will be supporters, people who will give, but it will be so many other people. It will be your beneficiaries. It will be your community partners. It will be advocates and elected officials. So really marketing sets a foundational brand and tone and voice and message for who you are and how you want to portray your organization to the world. So I think of marketing as A lot of activities that's meant to reach as many people as possible who, you know, are your most applicable audience members. I once saw on Twitter someone asked, what is marketing in 3 words? And my favorite response was, tell me more. And I think that is the perfect 3 words for marketing. You want people to learn and know more about you and climb up that engagement ladder. Whereas fundraising has a very, very specific goal and usually a very specific audience. These are potential or current supporters, and you want to, you know, solicit funds from them. It's a much more relational activities. You are building relationships, whether that be with individuals or with volunteers or with corporate entities to raise money for your organization. So they absolutely support one another. But I would say marketing, while they support fundraising, marketing supports so many other different parts of the organization as well, and different goals.
Very good. Yeah. And you are going to be a guest on our 6-week masterclass talking about this stuff more. So if you enjoy what you're hearing, of course, you can join Maria's Thrive Marketing Bootcamp 1-week intensive training. You can also, of course, you must also join the 6-week masterclass that we're doing. And Maria's going to come on and be a guest talking a little bit more about that. What are the 3 foundational steps to marketing a fundraising campaign or a special event, or maybe it's your your online giving campaign or a social media giving campaign?
Yeah.
Tell us. We told everybody we're going to teach them how to propel
All right.
their end of year fundraising forward, and at 12:18 p.m. we're ready to give it to you, folks. If you like it, you want to hear it. By the way, hit like, hit love, hit the love button there. Let Maria know that you want to hear these 3 foundational steps. Don't hit the mad button or the one of those buttons.
Do you get that sometimes?
No, nobody has ever hit the mad button on us yet. We get a lot of likes and love, and we're here to share the love with our nonprofit.
I know you told me it's Twitter is the space for the.
Twitter seems like about a lot of angry people. I have a hard time really with Twitter, but I'm learning because you taught me how that I need to engage with people more on Twitter. So I'm doing that. We're trying.
You have to have a thick skin for Twitter, which I don't know. Okay, here are the 3 foundational, fundamental steps for your campaign. 1 is a deep understanding of your audience members. It is so easy when you're creating a giving campaign or whatever your campaign is to just write to the masses. But when you have a deep understanding of who your audience is, you are going to choose the correct voice. You are going to choose the more appropriate platforms and channels to reach them. And that could be the difference between Facebook and LinkedIn. It could be the difference between email and text messaging. And you're going to be able to speak to their challenges and their pain points and what they're most passionate about, and bridge that, what their pain points are and passions are, and how you come in and solve those pain points, or feed into their passions with your nonprofit and how they can support you with their funds. So that's number 1, is deeply understanding your audience members. Number 2 is setting doable but ambitious goals. I know so many nonprofit founders and marketers that are on social media regularly. They have their email lists, they have a great website, and they're doing it all, but they're not really getting the results they want because they don't really have a set plan or strategy to get from point A to point B. So just being on all of these platforms isn't enough. You need to have very specific goals, and not many, maybe just 1 or 2 goals that fit in with the greater goals of your organization. and then crystal clear objectives and tactics that are going to bring you forward. You likely are wearing a ton of hats. You likely have finite time and resources. So the more specific that your goals are, the more clear that your goals are, you are more likely to start seeing those conversions and start seeing the results of your marketing efforts.
So it really is important to have a plan in place, not be like I used to be. You taught me this, right? I used to get up in the morning, oh, what are we going to post on Facebook today? Not probably the best plan, right?
It's not, and that goes, thanks for saying that. That leads me perfectly into the third thing, and that is content planning. So you have an idea from the goals and objectives on what platforms are most appropriate to reach your most ideal audience members and to reach your goals. And then every morning you wake up, you spend the first hour just trying to rack your brain for what content you want to put up. And for those of you who are putting together a fundraising campaign, I can't tell you how many nonprofit organizations spend months creating a fundraiser, but then they're writing the emails to promote it as they go, and they're writing the social media messages as they go. So the third most important part of having a successful campaign or successful marketing is to take the time to plan your content ahead of time. That means that all of the content you're putting out has purpose, its intention, it'll be diverse, and it will really help you reach your goals, and will save you so much time, because once you create that content ahead of time, you take the time, a few hours out of your day, you can focus and get all this messaging out, and you schedule it. And then the rest of your time, you're focusing on the other million things on your plate, and most especially on the engagement portion of your campaign and marketing.
Thank you, though. Okay, so you folks, you've got it here. If you like it, go ahead and hit that like and love button. Those your three foundational steps to marketing any fundraiser, any of the campaigns and promotions that you do. And I've found that a lot of it is, planning is important, but sometimes we overplan, right? We just got to get in there and do it. And I guess that's my philosophy. You're a planner. You want to plan those steps all the way out in advance, right?
Yeah. And I love that you say that. Like, you don't want to plan so much that it paralyzes you from moving forward. You don't want to plan instead of doing. I think back to my very first marketing strategy that I made over 10 years ago, and it was 18 pages. It was so long. It was full of research. It was full of tons of objectives and tactics. And it took 8 months for my boss to sit down and read it and give any feedback. I mean, I didn't get to implement any of it because I spent so much time planning it. So to your point, I think that a marketing plan should not be any longer than one page. It's something that you should make the decisions and then move forward. One of the best advice I got for marketing is that your goal should remain the same, but feel free to change your tactics and objectives as the results are coming in. So if you're seeing that something is working and something else isn't working, absolutely shift so that you're focusing on what is working. So yes, definitely plan, but be flexible and track to see what's working and what's not working.
All right, folks. So there you have it. I want to, we're going to invite our audience members, and there's a lot of people that's watching the show I can see that haven't introduced themselves yet in the chat. So if you're watching this show right now and you are, you go ahead, tell us who you are. Tell us about your nonprofit like Christy and Brett, and tell us all about, and then it's time to ask questions, right? We want to throw out questions for Maria, the nonprofit marketing strategist here. And as we said earlier, we're going into year-end fundraising. And, this is an important time. What do you think? Give me some other thoughts and steps of what nonprofits should be doing right now as we go into our year-end and into our last quarter of 2021.
Well, first, I before I forget, I promised everyone who came live that I would give you a free social media planning calendar. So just want to let you know how you can do that since you're already thinking of questions. There's two ways to make sure that I can get that to you. One, throw your email in the comments and I will email this to you tomorrow. If you're not comfortable doing that, send me a private message on any of my social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. On Instagram and on Twitter, my handle is Maria Bryan, BRYAN CRTV. My business is Maria Bryan Creative. So that's at Maria Bryan CRTV. DM me your email and I will send you that social media calendar that I promised.
And if you, right, or you can send your email to Nonprofit Campaigns. We will forward it to
Yes,
to
yes. Feel free
Maria.
to email Rob that absolutely, and I'll get that to you first thing tomorrow.
However you get it, make sure you get us your email so we can Maria can get you this social media calendar template. Can you talk about this calendar template a little bit?
Yeah, we were talking about creating content and scheduling it beforehand. So really, it's just a bird's eye view. Thank you, Brett. I see you. I'm going to email it to you. A bird's eye view of your social media. It allows you to take the steps to think about the kind of content that you want to create and then actually write the captions and put the kinds of media within. It is a Google Sheet. There's a few other kinds of services and software like Airtable or Monday.com. I happen to use Google Sheets with my team. And so what we do is, my social media manager will write the captions, I approve them or edit them, and then she makes the assets and she sticks them in there. So again, it's just a place for me to see all of the month's content in one place. And once it's approved, we schedule all that content. All of this is done halfway through the month. So all of my social media content on all my platforms is written, approved, created, and scheduled 2 weeks before the month even starts. And so I am going to give you that template to use for yourself or for your team.
Awesome, Maria. Thank you very much. We've got Brett gave us his email. Thank you. And others that are in there, send your email either through the chat or privately to Maria or myself, and let us know. And we will, and Maria will send out that nonprofit social media. I guess it could be for profits as well, right? But that social media calendar template.
Yes. And to be honest, you can use it for social media, but you can use it for any platform. You don't have to just use it for social media. Okay, Naomi has a question.
Yes, I see that. Naomi jumped in here with a question. It says, how do you prevent from getting overwhelmed between fundraising versus marketing if you are a one-person team? That's a good question, by the way, Naomi.
It's a very, very good question. So I'm glad that we talked about the fact that they're two different functions. So it's hard to choose between them. And really at the heart of my answer for you is to plan ahead. The more you're able to plan ahead and schedule things, the more, again, bird's eye view you have of what you want to accomplish, the better to reduce overwhelm. It is so important to me and for the teams that I manage that we don't feel panicked. We don't feel rushed. We don't feel like we need to get the email out tomorrow or we need to get up social media immediately or this campaign is going to flop. So plan ahead. But two, I think it's just important to prioritize. Be honest with what activities you're going to have the most return on investment. What are the greater goals? So if it's the very first year of your organization, maybe you should be focusing more on brand awareness than fundraising because it's really, really hard to ask for support when not many people know who you are. So choose appropriate goals for the season and stage that you are and just focus on those goals and set really reasonable expectations. So maybe you're not going to raise $10,000 on Facebook the first 1 to 5 years that you're in existence, but maybe you can reach, 1,000 people or 5,000 people. So when you set those realistic KPIs, which are key performance indicators, you are going to feel a little bit less overwhelmed.
Okay. Sorry, I was so intrigued in listening to you. I forgot I was the host. So thank you for asking that question, Naomi. I hope that she answered that well. And one of the things, we do have another question from Jackie Larson. Welcome, Jackie Larson. Tell us where you're from, by the way, Maria, Jackie and Naomi. Can you review the social media agenda part you talked about? Again, the video cut out during that.
I will say, Jackie, this will be recorded, so you can go back and watch that part. So that's what I recommend. So I think you're talking about the social media template. And so I was just talking about this template that I am giving out for all of you who are live, including you, Jackie. So if you can give your email in the comments, or you can send me a DM, I will send you that social media template for you to use. And there's instructions in the template as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And once again, just get us that email, Jackie, and you can send it to Maria, send it to myself privately, or you can put it in the chat here, and we will make sure we get from you. Naomi is from Oahu, but currently living in Washington State. Thanks for the great answer, Maria. Naomi said, wow, we got it. Well, Oahu is in state of Washington's in the house. I'm broadcasting from upcountry Maui right now, Naomi. So, but on a really clear day out that direction, I can see Oahu just barely, a little bit of Diamond Head. We had, let's see, Rick Miller jumped in. Did I mention Rick yet? No, Rich Miller jumped in and said, wonderful presentation again. Rick is my friend from the Church for Entrepreneurs. And believe it or not, all of us entrepreneurs out there, we actually have a pastor, Amos Johnson, that shepherds us along the way. And I got to tell you, being a nonprofit founder is a lot like being an entrepreneur. When you talk about being overwhelmed,
100%. Yes,
it is. Yeah, it really is. I mean, you've got a lot of hats to wear, a lot of things to do. And we got another Facebook user. I didn't get the name on that, so it might be Rick. It says, I'm in Northeast Pennsylvania. And let's see, did I miss a question?
There is a question. I can read it.
Okay, thank you. Where is it? I'm kind of scrolling on here trying to find it here. Yes.
Can you, and this is also from Facebook users, so this might be Rick. Can you explain the benefits of fundraising for a 501c3 versus a mission-driven company, like a certified B Corp, and social impact driven to the fundraising community? This is a fantastic question. And I feel like
there's a lot going on in that question.
Yeah. I first want to say, there are tax and legal differences between a mission-driven company, certified B Corp, and a nonprofit. So whatever I'm telling you, of course, make sure that you talk to an accountant, you talk to a lawyer about fundraising.
Yeah, get the disclaimer in there.
Yeah. So this is so interesting because this can actually be very controversial, how nonprofits can make a profit and how for-profits can fundraise. But really, the lines are blurring a lot. Both entities do both. So really, my answer is there's no reason why, if you're mission-driven, that you can't fundraise. I mean, I don't know of any reason why you wouldn't. I mean, a lot of companies fundraise through capital, or even with like Kickstarter campaigns. I mean, all the elements of fundraising, especially for those who have like incentives for fundraising. I mean, that's what a Kickstarter is. So I hope so can you explain the benefits of fundraising? I don't know if I'm quite answering. Maybe Rob actually is.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in there a little bit.
Not me. So
and perhaps maybe you should talk a little bit about what that certified B Corp is. I know Mary answered.
Mary knew what it was, and
we always get this question when you're on the show. I guess it's a process. Perhaps the Facebook user who is out there could tell us more about the certified B Corp than I could,
Yeah.
but it is a process to make sure that you are Pono, as we say in Hawaii, or legit. I mean, I don't know that I'm explaining that well, right? You jump in and tell us more about your B Corp. I'm gonna jump in and answer this question a little bit. Obviously, the most obvious differences is if you are giving money to a 501c3, it is tax deductible. If you are giving money to that certified B Corp or an LLC or something else,
yes,
it's not tax deductible.
Yeah.
Now, we know from in this working in this industry that there's a lot of reasons people donate money to charity, to nonprofit organizations, and one of them might be a tax deduction. Sometimes people are looking at that toward the end of the year, right, as we go into this now. But a lot of people don't care about the tax deduction. They want to help the organization. A great example is the Church for Entrepreneurs I mentioned that Rick and I are both members of. Pastor Amos was called to put that church together as an LLC. Like I'm an LLC, right? Nonprofit campaigns. The board of directors is me and my son, and of our LLC. And if you are a B Corp or an LLC or a C Corp or something, you know, all the different corporation models out there, you typically got to find a small board of directors for decision-making purposes. But with a 501c3, by law, the IRS and the state has determined that the board of directors is legally and fiscally and morally responsible for everything that goes on in that organization. And that is I think that's probably one of the biggest things that people, when you're considering being fundraising, and going in and doing this stuff. I mean, for a lot of people, they just stay, they may stay a private corporation or, you know, a B Corp, going through that process, or an LLC. But if you're a nonprofit, that board of directors has responsibilities, and they can fire the founder or the executive director. In fact, if that founder or executive director is doing something that is not ethical, that is not really above board, they should fire that person. And of course, I believe that nonprofit boards should be big. People, so many founders out there have these 3 people nonprofit boards, because if you file and form a 501c3, you're required to have 3 people on the board, and usually it's your auntie and your mom, and you got 3 people that are your friends that are the board. It's not really a board of directors. It's just stuff. Those are just names on a piece of paper. Then you need to go out and develop a diverse board that will take ownership and accountability for the actions of this nonprofit and participate in fundraising to maintain it. I just went on a tangent. I know. Is everybody okay? I don't know.
Well, we have an explanation for certified B Corp, and now I'm remembering what Mary said, and I can read this. It's a new kind of business that balances purpose and profit. So maybe I'll look into this for my business. Maybe you should too.
Yeah, and there's a process that you go through that I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm going to scroll down and look at the new comments.
Yeah, it's a community of leaders driving a global movement of people using business as a force for good.
Yeah, somebody posted it. Yeah, so somebody posted what you just said in there. I see it, now. Our Facebook user, certified B corporations are a new kind of business that balances purpose and profits. They are legally required to consider the impact of their decisions on their workers, customers, suppliers, community, and the environment. This is a community of leaders driving a global movement of people using business as a force for good. We also support the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. I gotta think that I think that should be every corporation, right? Every corporation should have a mission and be seeking that goal.
And I think we're moving towards that, like culturally.
And it is not available in every state. And it's interesting because I'm familiar with Hawaii. I'm familiar with California. I founded businesses on both. I don't recall ever being asked that question. So thank you.
I dig it.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Thank you. So I hope we answered your, I don't know if that was Rick. It just says Facebook user here, whoever that was. I hope we answered that question well. Ron Petke's in the house, and he said, great info. I don't know if you remember, Ron was in our show when you and Mary were on, and he popped in late and he goes, did they saw the lady in half yet? And you and Mary had this like look on your face, like, they're going to saw us in half. Ron is my comedian friend. He's old school. You know, back in the olden days, they did that, right? They saw the lady in half in the magic show. And I don't know. I just thought that was funny as heck, looking at the look on your face when he asked that question last time. And Ron was the guy, or is the guy, that first put me on cable television back in the 1980s. And we were talking the other day, he is the cable TV producer guru from Long Beach, California, that really, I mean, we had so much fun doing community television back in those days. I wish more cable, and actually here in Maui, we do have Akaku, which is a pretty cool public access kind of thing going on. But, we really need more of those local television things going on. Thank you, Ron, for being a part of that. And he's got to interview some very fascinating people over the years. And of course, I'm just one of them. Okay, so Christy's got a question here, and it says, what are your thoughts on annual fundraising letters and their recommended length? Wow, what a good question for end of year, because it seems to me that at the end of the year, all nonprofits are going out and writing letters, which we call the direct mail campaign, seeking those year-end gifts. And how to write that is, I mean, that's really, I've got a guest that did his PhD thesis, and we're going to have him on the show here. I forget the guy's name, but fascinating. He did a whole thesis on this stuff. And
really?
And yeah, no, we're going to get him on the show. I'd like to get him to on our master class to talk about that, because writing compelling content at that year end or anytime you send out direct mail. Now, these are passive forms of fundraising. And what we're going to teach in the 6-week master class is how to take people from those passive forms of fundraising, direct mail, online giving, social media giving, and bringing them into a more active fundraising component where we're developing relationships and really, really developing that culture of philanthropy. I'm talking with my hands again. You're our marketing expert. Talk to us a little bit about that annual fundraising letters, those year-end letters people are going to be sending out, because I know everybody's like, they're scratching their head. How do we take your three steps to propel our fundraising forward and actually put it into practice?
Yeah, well, I was actually just doing some research on marketing and fundraising trends before this to kind of gear up for some fun games for the Thrive Bootcamp, and saw that most gifts and larger gifts are in the age 65 category. So, and if you're 65 and you've been donating a certain way, and it might not be online, you have to make sure that you are providing different ways for people to donate. So my point is, I think that direct mail is here to stay. I think that it's important that you diversify how you are implementing your campaign. So absolutely have a direct mail, especially if your donors are used to giving that way, are used to receiving your ask that
Us
way.
older people with gray hair, we kind of still go with that direct mail. We like to open up that thing and read what you have to say.
Yeah.
And there's nonprofit nerds like me who really, I mean, I get that. I scrutinize it. I go online and look and see who the board is. And I'll tell you, the one of the things, and this is Linda Lysakowski, our resident ACFRE, which stands for Advanced Certified Fundraising Executive, mentioned this the other day. If I'm a donor, why would I want to give money to an organization that their own board members don't give? So we look and see that the board members are all giving. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but but yeah, that's direct mail campaigns. Very important, especially for the folks that are older. Younger people, like, they prefer that passive online giving strategy, right?
Yeah. So, depending on so many different factors, people are more likely to give on desktop versus mobile. People are more likely to give via email than social media. But I say throw everything in the kitchen sink. I just answered, what do you do when you're overwhelmed? And this might be counter to that. But I think it's really important when you're planning your campaign to again, know your audience. So if your audience is in a certain demographic that's more likely to donate via direct mail, then direct mail is probably the way to go. If most of your volunteers are Gen Z activists, then maybe it'll be more of like a text campaign or an email campaign. But I want to make sure I touch on, Christy said, the length of the letter. I wouldn't have more than one page. So you can have just one page or one page front and back. And I hear the biggest trick to fundraising letters are to have a PS. Some people barely read anything, but they always read that PS. So make sure you have a PS in there and that it's a strong ask in that PS.
Yeah, I mean, you're here to solve a problem for them. Most people donate money because they want to make an impact that they can't make on their own, so they give to your organization to make that impact. So what is that problem that you're solving? How are you going to solve it? And as she said, make that PS, and it's a call to action, right? This is what we want you to do. And I got to tell you, the most important thing is, all of those are important. Those passive forms we need to be doing. It's what you do with those donors after they get involved and make that first gift. If somebody is that you don't know that you wrote a letter to is writing you a check and mailing it for $100, my gosh, develop a relationship with that person, and find out what motivates that person and fill that need. And that $100 gift should be $1,000 gift the next year as we move forward. I'm a big believer that we need to go out into our sphere, and we need to be asking these people personally to make a gift, and it should be a pledge. And of course, we want to do this at the beginning of the year, right? If you're going to, at the beginning of the year, we all should be running one of our high impact community support campaigns where we organize our board members and our volunteers, and everybody makes a gift, and they go out and ask a few other people to join them at their level of giving. Why at their level of giving? Well, if I give $100, it's really hard for me to ask somebody else to give $10,000. But I can go to some of my friends and people in the community and say, I give $100 to this organization that Christy runs, and I'm gonna, let me tell you the story of why I support this organization, and ask if you, and I'd like to, would you please join us at that level of my, give the $100 too. That is the sum total of what our annual campaign, community support campaign is. All of your board members should be involved. All of your volunteers should be involved. Recruit new people from the community. Now we're recruiting people from your Kiwanis Club and your Rotary Club and your Chamber of Commerce to be a part of this. Those are going to be your future board members, by the way. Those campaigners are your future leaders and future board members. I went off on my tangent again, but that is the goal. And so if you haven't put together and your board if you haven't put together a board ask and it's coming into the end of the year, make sure, get to each one of your board members, create a campaign committee, a board solicitation committee, and there's got to be a chair for that committee. And you go to each board member one-on-one and you ask them for a specific amount of money. And you want to make sure 100% of your board is giving. And it doesn't matter at what level they give. Somebody might give $100, and that's more meaningful than $10,000 to another donor. I do not believe in setting minimums. Minimums become maximums. Some of you guys are so sick of hearing me say that, but this give, get, or get off policy that I think is just a horrible way for nonprofits to look at fundraising. Your board members, your donors are more important than just give, get money or get off. That is just not how we should be looking at it. All right. I'm hoping we answered that question well. And we got another question from a Facebook user in here, and then we got about 10 minutes left. So we're going to I'm gonna ask a couple of questions, and we're gonna talk again about the nonprofit marketing hive. Every time we get Maria on the show, we go into overtime, and we might do that less. So, how do I ask a potential donor for their mentorship and expertise and trust that their financial support will follow, including the letter of an introduction of our mission? Whew, good question, huh? You want to jump on this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They're two very different asks. So that's one. Um, I'm a big believer that cultivating volunteers can lead to financial support. So asking for mentorship and expertise, if you consider that more of like a volunteer relationship, that can lead to support. But again, you're asking for two different things and their value in two different things. Mentorship and expertise is value. It is valuable. So, I talked before about the ladder of engagement. So, of course, you want to give opportunities for them to support you financially. Um, but I kind of keep going back to those are two different asks. What do you think,
Yeah. And you're absolutely right, Maria. And before you ask somebody for money, you got to develop that relationship.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that friend that you just meet somebody and say, "Hey, can you give me $20? I don't have enough gas to get home." I think that's a pretty good analogy, right?
Asking someone to marry you on the first date.
Yeah, I shouldn't be doing that, should I? Yeah. Very good. Yeah, you want to develop that relationship with these people first. Now, it's really easy to sit down with your banker, your insurance broker, your stockbroker, people, and just say, you know what, we're running this nonprofit, and I'd love to ask for your advice.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes mentorship and expertise comes off a lot more palatable if you're asking somebody for your advice. Hey, can you give me your advice? I'd love to, hear what you have to say. And that's a great way to develop that relationship. Once you have that relationship with the person, then it's a lot easier to go out and ask for those dollars. And we have a whole, by the way, I'm teaching a 6-week master class on exactly that takes you through starting off with those passive forms of giving and ultimately, how do we organize the whole team together? We've got job descriptions. We've got a campaign structure. We're going to teach you everything that you need to know. I've got is in that masterclass, and Maria is teaching her Thrive Marketing Bootcamp. They both start next week. You start on Monday, and you go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Give me a little bit. And we got another question, so we might go into overtime. But before people start tuning out here at about
I know. I want to get to the boot camp for those that
talk about the boot camp. I'm going to find that image here. We'll come back to your question. Don't worry.
I see you, Jackie.
Yep.
So yeah, while you're finding that, I'll talk a little bit more about the Thrive Marketing Bootcamp. This is happening. Woohoo! Next week. This is a $99 investment, and boy, will you be getting a lot out of that investment. These are 3 90-minute sessions, one on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you will be learning crucial foundational concepts on successful marketing, whether that's day-to-day marketing or marketing for a specific campaign that you have coming up. And then there's going to be time for doing. So there will be a lot of thought-provoking exercises to dig really deep into, again, who your audience is, what your goals are, how to reach them, what kind of KPIs to track, which Jackie, that's your question. So I'd love to see you in the bootcamp. And then content planning. What's your voice and tone? What are your key messages? What platforms should you be on? What's your game plan for each platform? So you'll have time to actually complete these exercises. And my goal for each participant is to have a completed marketing plan by the time that we are done together. And each participant will not only receive a ton of one-on-one feedback and support on your very specific marketing campaign, but you'll receive a marketing deck. Think of it as a PowerPoint presentation. This is a template where you can pop all those end products of what we're talking about, your audience personas, your very short, concise goals and objectives, and your platform plans are all going to be in one presentation. So this is what you can bring to your board to let them know about the campaign. You can bring it to your boss or other leadership, or just somewhere for you to have all this information in one place. So again, this is something that you can use over and over and over again. There's going to be games and prizes.
Woohoo! Games and prizes.
I'm really, really looking forward to it. This is the third time that I am doing this marketing event. And I can't tell you enough how many nonprofit founders and marketers tell me that they are intuitive about marketing, but they just don't have a game plan in place. And it's so hard to press pause on everything you're doing to create a game plan. And so next week is about pressing pause on all of your activities. Maybe you have an ideation for a fundraising campaign, or you have goals that you just want to catapult for the end of the year. And we are just going to focus on making a game plan for you, understanding who you want to reach, and creating content that is actually going to get people motivated and acting on those asks.
How do we sign up for that? How do people
You
go
can sign up at mariabryan.com, Maria, Bryan.com. And on the homepage, you'll see a link to an event page to.
That's on Eventbrite, right? Is that where we go?
It is. I won't give you the long Eventbrite URL, so you can just go to Maria Bryan to find that link.
Awesome. And as I said earlier, Maria is going to be a special guest presenter on our 6-week masterclass. Maria, yours starts on, is it the 12th? I guess Monday is the
13th.
13th, right? Monday's the 13th, and you go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're in the morning, right? What time is the the Thrive Bootcamp?
So on the West Coast, it'll be at 9 a.m. On the East Coast, it'll be 12 p.m. So it's either breakfast or lunch.
Okay, so while you're having breakfast and lunch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, cocktails and dinner is going to be our 6-week masterclass. Somebody asked me the other day, why am I promoting Maria's program at the same time I've got a 6-week masterclass? Well, it's karma and being Pono, and it's both good information. It's September, it's back to school season.
It's back to school.
Your boot camp is 1 week, $99, 3 days that 1 week. Our 6-week masterclass goes for every Wednesday, starting September 15th, 4 p.m. It will in California. It'll be 7 p.m. for those folks on the East Coast. You're on the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to cover how to create everything the beginners want. But I guarantee you that if you are a seasoned executive director or development director, you will learn a lot. You're going to learn how to create a fundraising plan, a development plan that won't be this long thing that Maria was talking about earlier that sits on the shelf and nobody reads. It's going to be simple. It's going to be easy to interact and put it together. We want to teach everybody to get started on the right foot, because as nonprofit consultants, Linda and our team and Danya, we are, hired to go in and fix problems and bad habits that people were. And I would just wish we could get into so much more of that stuff in this show, and we can't. And many of you guys want more than an online training course. We have 13 online training courses on our website at nonprofitcampaigns.com. And we also provide consulting services and an annual consulting service to do everything we're going to teach you. That's $60,000, $70,000 a year that we charge clients to go in and do one-on-one. For $250, you're getting an interactive class where you can talk to us, ask questions. We're going to go into the same thing that we do for our clients that ends up with that high impact fundraising community support campaign that will engage your board members, giving them ownership of your fundraising process. And the most important thing is it's fun. If we're not having fun in fundraising, kids, we're doing something wrong.
Agreed.
And wow, look at that. We're coming up on, we got that in before an hour. Of course, we started a couple of minutes late. It's 1:01 p.m. We're now on overtime, folks. This is what happens on this live forum on fundraising. We're having so much fun, and you guys are asking good questions. We tend to go over, and so those of you who can't stay longer, thank you for joining. We appreciate that. Go in and you can join the Hive. By the way, let's talk real quick about the Hive. How do I get into? How do I get into the Hive?
Jackie has a question about KPIs. I do free marketing sessions a few times a month, Mary and I. So this is a great question to post.
What is a KPI?
Group. A KPI is a key performance indicator. So that might be, our goal is to have 25 people watch this video. That would be a KPI. That would make us feel like this was successful.
We're blowing that out of the water.
All right. And maybe we want 30 people to buy our classes.
Okay. That's
bigger KPI, right?
Yep.
So you usually have like fundraising goals, and I talk about lead and lag. So that's the difference between choosing a metric that you have control over and metrics that you don't have control over. So you do have control over how many emails you're going to send out, how many social media posts, you're going to do that direct mail. You might not have exact control over exactly how many funds are going to come in, how many people are going to show up to your event. So it's good to have a combination of both. So Jackie, I hope that answers your question. But the Digital Marketing Hive is a Facebook community where we have nonprofit founders and marketers and for-profit founders and marketers that support each other. We learn from each other and we celebrate our wins together. So definitely come hang out with us there as well.
Thank you. And of course, we also invite everybody to join our nonprofit campaigns community. I have an image here somewhere. I got so many images now, I can't find them all. You can go to, you need to join the Digital Marketing Hive and our nonprofit campaigns community, inspiring fundraising success. Maria, I have one more question to ask you. Is it okay for you and our viewers if we go over time and I ask you one more question?
Absolutely. Yes.
By the way, thank you. I think it was Rick Miller that said, thank you, blessings, peace, and health to all. God bless you for being here, Rick and others. We're on overtime now. We're going to, so, this is time and a half on this free live forum on fundraising. I'm going to charge you extra for this one. What do you think are the 3 biggest mistakes fundraisers make when marketing their fundraising events and marketing their campaigns and marketing their whatever they're marketing? What are the 3 biggest mistakes people make that we can help them not make?
Great question. I actually wrote, this is the only thing that I wrote down. So
good. I'm glad I asked the question.
So we talked a few different ways about the difference between marketing and fundraising. So I find that a lot of people put in the effort to create their fundraising campaign. They want to do something on Giving Tuesday. They have an event, or they're going to talk to their board and volunteers, right? This is a great thing that Rob teaches us, how to actually ask, one-on-one. Maybe it's your direct mail. So they put all this time and energy into creating that event, that fundraising happening, but they don't make a marketing plan to promote it, to get it out there. So the number one mistake is these are 2 different things, right? There's the fundraising event itself and the marketing to support it. So just think about all the logistics that go into a gala, right? That's its own beast. But then you have to have all of the marketing to get people to come to that event. So make sure that when you are right now, you are likely starting to plan the ideation of your end of year fundraising, whatever that might be, if it's direct mail or a social media campaign, or maybe it's a virtual event. Make sure that you are taking time out of this planning season to create a marketing plan to get your fundraiser out into the world and successful. So that's number 1. Number 2 is not using, and every answer I have, we've touched on in this conversation. You shouldn't go to the same go-to channel. So some people, they have a campaign and they do email, social media, website, they call it a day. So I love that somebody talked about having direct mail. I love that Rob really teaches to galvanize your board member and volunteers and your champion supporters to fundraise. This is something that newer nonprofits don't do. They think they can just, do a fun Facebook fundraiser and call it a day. You really need to diversify the platforms and the channels that you use for your fundraiser to be success. So do your online activities, do direct mail, pick up the phone and make those phone calls. Do things so you have one-on-one interaction, direct interaction with your, again, your board and your supporters. So diversifying platforms is going to help you succeed in your fundraising campaign. And the last one, I'm so glad Rob touched on this, and that is to thank your donors, especially if you have new donors. I can't tell you how many times I've given large gifts to an organization or did a bigger fundraising effort. I put a whole team together to raise money for an organization and didn't receive more than the automated thank you, which to me is almost like a receipt. So make sure that some people do like a Loom or a Vimeo video actually thanking their volunteers, so they're personalized. Maria, I want to thank you for donating that $200. It is going to support A, B, and C. You can have beneficiaries writing postcards or thank you notes. Some of my favorite thank yous I've received were handwritten notes from beneficiaries. Again, even if it's just the CEO sending a personal email, make sure that you are thanking your donors. I'm a big believer in automated marketing, but when it comes to fundraising, that special touch, the one-on-one interaction to thank your donors is going to make a huge difference if you want those donors to come back again next year and over and over and over again.
Maria, thank you so much for being a guest on the show today. Every time we get together, every time we do this show, we never have enough time to answer all the questions. And so I want to let you know that Maria is a member of our Nonprofit Campaigns community group, and you can ask questions there. Mm-hmm. I'm a member of the Hive group that Maria has, so you can ask questions for me on her Hive and ask, we want to continue answering questions. That's why we created these groups, so you guys can interact, talk to us, we can communicate and have a meaningful dialogue and answer questions and teach people how to be the best fundraisers that in the world. That is our mission. That is our goal. Once again, sign up for Maria's Thrive Marketing Bootcamp. You can go to mariabryan.com, right? And it's on Eventbrite. So if you go to Eventbrite, you can even type in the little search and say Thrive Marketing Bootcamp. You can sign up there. 1 week intensive marketing. You'll have your marketing plan in your hand. And
done on Friday.
What's that?
It'll be done on Friday.
Friday you'll have, so a week from tomorrow, you're going to have this thing in your hand. You're ready to go to work right now, implementing this plan. And same thing with our 6-week masterclass. Mm-hmm. You can go to our website, nonprofitcampaigns.com. Lots of people have signed up already. I'm scheduling right now time to interview. I want to do at least 30, 45 minutes, personal one-on-one with everybody, kind of do an assessment of where you're at and where your goals are before we do this. We want to personalize these trainings as much as possible and give you the most bang for your buck. And I guarantee you, them folks, those that are seasoned people, executives, CEOs, development directors, send your staff. One of the biggest problems we have in this industry is nonprofit turnover. And that means we, as seasoned nonprofit people, we need to be telling those younger or newer people that we care about them. There's a career path here in nonprofit fundraising that's an exciting career. And I guarantee you, sign those people up. They're going to be better employees for your organization. Absolutely. They'll be better marketers, better fundraisers, and they'll understand what we're talking about when we talk about that culture of philanthropy. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you again, Maria. This will be recorded and will be on the Hive. It'll be in our Facebook groups for nonprofit campaigns. It'll be on YouTube and LinkedIn and all those things. The only thing I can't put it in is Instagram. Got to work on that. Instagram needs to allow us to put long videos on there.
Yeah.
Thank you once again. We will be back next week at the same bat time, the same bat channel, for another edition of our live forum on fundraising. And I just thank everybody for being here. God bless you, folks. Have a wonderful day. I look forward to working with you as we create exciting fundraising campaigns together.